Crime is rampant. The streets are chaos. The thieves are the kings of the street and bodies are scattered on the ground. The only hope we have left to restore order is in the hands of the law. But what happens when the bodies begin to rise again? This time, the bullets don't work. The dead now walk amongst the living, and they are robbing us blind. The only way to get to the bottom of this hell and rise back to normalcy is by fighting fire with fire, the undead versus the undead. Because we all know you can't keep a dead cop down. This is It Records. Hi everybody, I'm Matt Johnson, one of your co-hosts as always, and I'm joined by my other two co-hosts. You know them already. We have Peter and we got Lindsay.
Just nameless drones, that's all we are too.
No.
Yeah, you know,
no.
whatever.
I was trying to leave some air for you to introduce yourselves, but I jumped the gun. And I introduced.
Well, you always give us grand introductions that I'm just become so accustomed
I think
to.
we were a little unexpected.
Well, you know what, Pete? I did it week after week, and you just shoot me down. You tell me not to do it. You belittle me, and you know what? It hurt. It took its toll on me.
Pretty much.
And so
well, that's what you do. You bully someone until they become a better
I'm
person.
submissive to you now. I get it. Yeah, you broke me.
Oh, well. On that note.
Sorry. On that note, we did another movie this week, everybody, and we did a cult classic, 1988 cult classic, Dead Heat, directed by Mark Goldblatt.
There's definitely something very weird going on here.
Detective Roger Mortis has a problem. He's dead. But Detective Bigelow is bringing him back alive.
We have something on the monitor, Captain.
That's okay. Don't get up. Told you not to get up.
Now, he's got 12 hours to solve the toughest murder case of his career. His own.
What is this thing? Very ugly. Get down! Remember the good old days when guns killed people? That's it. From now on, I'm a vegetarian. How do you fight this thing? Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Treat Williams
Sit down.
and Joe Piscopo are Dead Heat.
You shoot them, they don't die.
You can't keep a good cop dead.
I'm sure all of you are aware of Dead Heat. Big fans out there, I'm sure. This one was chosen by Peter.
Call me out, no. There's definitely an audience for this movie. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how did you? I mean, I had never heard of it, but you were aware that it was a cult classic. How did you come across it?
Well, I never actually heard of it until I did like a free trial for Shudder. Do you remember that? Like streaming service that does like scary movies only, really. And I just saw it on there, and it's just like Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo, however you say his name.
Joe Piscopo.
Joe Piscopo.
Yeah.
Okay.
One less Po.
Too many Pos. And it just looked ridiculous, and I was like, I gotta watch that someday. And then the someday
Here we
came.
are. Not to be confused with the 2002 Kiefer Sutherland movie of the same name.
Yeah, definitely different
Yeah.
movie that I've also have never seen
Yeah, never seen
before.
Yeah, that I actually was almost set to watch that movie before I did a little research. I was like, this doesn't seem like it'd be right for our podcast.
Maybe.
I mean, we don't know. We haven't watched it, any of us, but, you know.
That's true. I stand corrected. That's on me.
Kiefer Sutherland could have like a really scary hairline in that movie or something.
He could. No, but our 1988 movie, it follows two policemen, Joe Piscopo, as Pete told us, and Treat Williams. These two policemen are brought back to life essentially to chase down some supernatural criminals. Or, as when I was watching it, I thought it was like a Beverly Hills Cops meets zombies. Is what I thought.
That's
That's a good
exactly what it
comparison.
is.
Yeah.
Because, like, body cop movies are all the rage
Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
80s. And they're just like, let's put on some fucking zombies.
Yeah, how can we change up this genre just a little bit? Zombies.
And give Joe Piscopo a lot of one-liners.
That
Yeah.
he nailed every time.
Yeah, he did. I'll give it to him. He got me laughing.
One thing I will say about him is that it's weird that he's buff. He's like really buff in that movie, and I find it weird that comedians could be buff to
Yeah.
me, because I feel if you're a comedian, you either have to be like overweight or really skinny
Yeah, but he's a double
to like,
threat.
look nerdy. But he was just like mullet and buff,
Huh.
and I was like, you don't look like a comedian because objectively you're a better looking man in the 80s because you have a mullet and you have big arms. So how have you suffered it anyway
Yeah.
to become a comedian?
And Joe Piscopo can sing. I don't know if you guys knew that. I believe he has some
Did not
albums.
did not know
Yeah.
that.
It's just too far.
Did he do a double rap album with Joe Pesci?
I don't think so.
Because Joe Pesci has a rap album.
Oh, I'm aware.
Is that
When he was
right?
younger,
It
right?
came out right after Goodfellas.
What? So it.
You are
seems
rocking my world right now.
Oh, jeez.
One of the lines is like, "I don't give a fuck. I'll hit you with my truck." That's one of the lines
That's funky fresh.
in the song. And I was like, "Damn, Joe Pesci, you fucking nailed it."
Oh man. That is.
That's too
Just
good.
Download it,
Yeah.
buy it on iTunes. I mean, really, it's fucking worth
Right.
it.
Oh,
If it's even on there, I don't even
I
know.
bet it's gotta be.
Buy it at fucking Best Buy. I don't know. Where do you buy CDs? I don't even know.
Yeah, that's a real question.
My mom asked me that recently, and I was like, I don't know. I haven't bought a CD in like 6 years.
Yeah, I either go MP3, I download, or I skip the CD.
Which is dead.
Yeah. And go to vinyl.
MP3 is
I
officially
was gonna
dead.
say. They're about one and the same.
It's all about MP4. I don't know. That's video. I don't know what it is now. AVA. I don't know.
Yeah, beats me.
PAL 40. No, that's Europe.
I'm all about that vinyl. Yeah.
Now you're talking.
With the digital download. You gotta get the digital download with your vinyl purchase.
Most of them do. Like newer, like if you get a new release of an artist.
That's what I like. It's like, let me get a little bit of both.
Mhm.
So you can't bring your vinyl on the run.
Hmm. Agree to disagree.
How would you go
I
about
got
that?
my turntable under my arm at
That's what all
full
the kids are
sprint
doing.
with a generator
That can't
fanny
be good for
packed
the
around.
needle. The needle's gonna get real dull after that.
No, I got it rigged in place. It's bolted down. So, yeah, I mean, and I keep a level run. I mean,
Are you like that guy from the Spike Lee movie where he's got love, hate, with his fucking big boo box? What is
I
it?
guess,
Do the right thing.
yeah, do the right thing. Yeah.
There it is.
I guess you can compare me to that.
Yeah, that is some next level stuff right there. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I'm going a little too crazy with movie references. I need to haul it back for a second.
Yeah.
Haul it back for a second.
And then reel it all the way back to Dead Heat, which is the
Yes,
focus
I
of this
Full-
podcast.
Full circle.
So, Dead Heat, it's a pretty quick 83 minutes, I'd say. I didn't feel like it's under an hour and a half. And
Yeah.
I remember looking at the time, and I was like, how much longer do I have? It was like 20 minutes. The movie, I feel like, flies really quick.
It does have a fast pace, which I think is appropriate for.
I would say the opposite, because I paused it halfway through the movie. Because I think I watched half the movie one day, and the other half another day. So it felt real long.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I didn't laugh when I watched it. It just means I was like, damn, I watched 40 minutes the first day and 40 minutes the second day. That felt like 3 hours.
Yeah. I can see that.
Interesting.
Now, this is horror, I mean, because it's on our podcast, but it's got the zombie references. There's some blood and guts, of course. But it's also got that comedy element. You bring in Joe Piscopo, people are laughing. So it's like that slapstick comedy horror that we do with The Burbs. But, Pete, it reminded me a lot of The Reanimator. I mean, not 100%, but I got that same vibe, which you have said on this podcast, on the record, not a fan.
I have said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I stand by that.
Damn it.
I mean, how many times have I watched that? I don't even know. Maybe like twice. I own the second one for some reason.
Because it's a good movie.
Bride of Reanimator? I don't know. I don't remember too much about it, to be honest.
Yeah. But would you say, I mean, you get that same sort of vibe as the slapstick horror of that movie?
I wouldn't even say that, like, Reanimator is slapstick horror to me. It feels more dark comedy. It's more like...
Well, how would you distinguish between the two?
I don't know. I feel like it's different with Dead Heat because you actually have a comedian that could, like, deliver, like, the lines in a comedic way, where the guy in Reanimator is very dry and, like, very serious. I almost feel like everyone else around him is making the jokes, and sometimes he would have like a very like deadpan, I guess, response that could be seen as funny.
Okay.
So it's like, to me, a different type of comedy.
Yeah. Okay.
But saying that, I think the reason why I probably like them the same, if we're comparing the movies. But I think there was just more hype around Reanimator for me because, like, that's like, if you're talking about cult classics, Reanimator is going to come up more often than Dead Heat.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's more widely known, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, I literally didn't know Dead Heat existed until my free month of Shudder.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, I got a couple days left. I better watch a movie.
Yeah. You know, I am also surprised I hadn't even heard of it, seeing that Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo are in it. And Vincent Price, haven't mentioned. Vincent Price plays a small role in this movie.
Yeah, which
What
is
an icon.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I saw him in the credits, and I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I just... Because he's also in Edward Scissorhands, which I feel like is a better movie critically, they say, than this. But I feel like this movie's more up his alley.
Oh, yeah.
Of, like... a horror type movie. Like, this is what he would have done back in the day. The plot line, anyway. Not completely the same plot line, not the comedy, but the Reanimated.
Yeah, it's definitely more sillier. It's more sillier than what he is normally known for.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I feel like there's some of his movies that are like comedic in a very weird way.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Because like House of Wax, I feel like had like not like funny moments, but it's just like maybe because it aged weird. But that movie's pretty cool in a 50s way.
Mm-hmm.
It's in 3D originally.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say about this movie, Matt?
What I got to say about it?
Yeah, give me the details.
Yeah, well, I took down some notes. I mean, the biggest thing that popped out on me was the one-liners. That always kept me going throughout the entire movie. But it does start off with a bang. I mean, we're basically, no pun intended, it's a shootout with some robbers. But we're introduced to the zombies right away, and I think the movie, it's a cult classic and it's 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, does have a good pace to it. I feel like a lot of points weren't dragging, even though it might be kind of crazy at some points. It was a quick paced movie that I thoroughly watched the entire way through.
What would you say about the beginning, Lindsay?
It was really intense, you know. You're kind of just like, you know, I think the first thing you kind of notice when, you know, these two guys are riding in this car together, you know, they're so different. And, you know, we've got Roger Mortis, you know, you kind of take him a little bit more seriously. And then you got, I'm just going to call him Doug, because I don't know how to say Joe's last name. Doug, yeah, that one. And, you know, like, they're just dressed completely differently. And, like, I think, like, he's eating a sandwich or something. Like, just totally different. But, yet, they're best friends. You know, they work together. They work together well. And then, you know, they happen upon...
He's driving Danny Tanner's car. He has the same car as Danny
Is that
Tanner
right?
from Full House.
What?
I'm pretty sure. It looks exactly like the
I
same
knew
car.
that's why
I
he
kept
looked like a
thinking
badass.
It looks like the same car, and I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know anything about cars, though, so don't quote me on it.
Yeah, you know, I felt like that was a good way to start off this movie. You know, I feel like it is really fast-paced, and there is a lot of, you know, there's equal parts action, horror, comedy, and I think it was a good way to start out, and, you know, and, yeah, you know, there's a lot of gore, obviously, you know, you got zombies, you got
That's
your gore. I actually, like, read that this movie was submitted 8 times to the MPAA to get it down from an X rating,
Really?
so that they would rate it R, yeah. So, like, kind of just, what we're left with, you know, that's, final cut, I guess.
That's a lot. That's a lot of times.
I want to see
That's
that
a lot
cut.
of times.
I want to see
I
those
know.
other 7 cuts that
I
were
know.
too graphic for us.
It probably doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't think too many people were screaming for a director's cut of this
Not after
movie.
yeah.
28 years.
Maybe like a handful of like 40-year-old collectors. That's about
Some
it.
diehard Piscopo fans.
Yeah.
They're out there.
But I agree with Lindsay on how the beginning was set up, and it kind of showed them being like the opposite, the classic buddy cop movie of one's kind of the goof off, like Eddie Murphy's character in Beverly Hills, to Judd Nelson. No, Judge Reinhold's his name, right? Yeah, in Beverly Hills Cop. But as I mentioned, one-liners is a great one to start off the movie that foreshadows the events, is when they're going to the bank robbery to stop the crime. Piscopo says, "You better slow down. You can't get there if you're a dead man."
Ooh, some
No, no.
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing for Treat, who becomes a zombie.
Gotta love that.
That was the first of them.
Doesn't he throw his sandwich out the window too?
Probably.
Like when he they do like a dramatic turn, he's just like, bam, goes my meatball sandwich.
There was something about that I don't quite remember, but food did fly. I remember that.
I like to think it hit like someone in the face and then it like cut away. I don't know if it exists, but I just feel
I
like it
feel
happened
like
in
it
the
should
movie.
have if it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know how to talk about this movie plot wise because it's just like
All over the place.
it's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just like spoiler alert: Treat Williams dies from a zombie, I guess, from a suffocation room that's supposed to be put down dogs.
Yeah. Could I
I-
talk about that for a second?
You fucking take that all you
Take it
want,
away,
Okay.
man.
because I don't know what's going on.
Basically, it starts off with the robbery that they are called to stop, and these robbers aren't dying. They keep shooting them and forever, and they figure out that they think that they were already dead, is what they find out in the morgue. So they think that they're the undead, and they can trace it to this chemical. That they go to this chemical plant, business office, whatever it was, business/office chemical plant, and in that plant, there's a asphyxiation room to put down dogs at a chemical plant. I don't know why that would exist at a chemical plant. That what threw me in the first place.
I only could think of is that they would test it on the dogs, and if the dogs got too sick, they would put them down humanely in this chamber.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Oh.
that makes sense if you're testing on the animals.
I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense.
No?
And it probably, that wasn't it. They're just like, let's just put a fucking room in there that sucks the air out.
Yeah, because we need to kill him somehow.
That's it. Yeah. Just a plot device.
Yeah, really. Because that's like where she first shows them that room when they're walking down on the tour. And then,
Yeah.
oh, that's the hazardous waste room. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
No, that's where the zombies are made. We learned.
Employees only.
Yeah.
How, you like how Joe Piscopo opened up like the little security door?
What?
And he, like,
Yeah, how do you do it? It's like a credit card or something, right?
Yeah, and it like electrocuted somehow. I don't know. It did a lot of weird, crazy stuff.
Yeah, he short-circuited the mainframe with
Yeah.
the credit card.
And I feel like I could not follow this movie
Agreed.
to save my life. Because there was like so many different like locations, and then like the girl who's like in charge of the chemical plant became like, I guess, the love interest, whose dad is dead, but the bad guy
Yeah, it's Vincent Price.
somehow, yeah, is Vincent Price. And then there's like everyone that's against them is like at some point worked at the plant but are dead, so they're zombies.
Yeah.
And Treat Williams becomes a zombie, and it's funny because I feel like he's like the attractive heartthrob male of the movie, and he's like losing his hair, and I feel like that's like really important to Treat Williams, because like wasn't he known for his good
I
hair?
believe so.
Because like he has a good head of hair, and he's in a movie called Hair.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I figured that was kind of funny. And they just like made him like ugly.
Yeah, he slowly deteriorates. He had 12 hours once they
Yeah.
brought him back to life. 12 hours to finish his unfinished business before I believe she said he melted away 10 to 12 hours until he melted away into some soup.
Ooh,
Some sort of soup.
that is bleak.
Speaking of that fucking crazy spoiler alert when that girl just fucking disintegrates into a
Right.
skeleton,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like, "I was dead the whole time," and I was like,
I didn't
What?
think you'd understand.
That came out of left field. Yeah. I'm dead. Of course I don't understand. Yeah.
but she like literally disintegrates into a skeleton and
Just
then
like
dust.
that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, out of nowhere.
"How long have you been dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you die?"
And that just came apart so
Mhm,
fast.
because Treat was showing symptoms of that he was slowly dying.
Yeah, slow progression. Yeah,
She,
but she was using makeup, I guess.
I guess so.
cover it up.
classic, yeah. Classic
Well,
makeup,
yeah,
you know,
makes sense.
hiding your
Didn't
decay.
she like wipe away some makeup? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. For the movie, it makes sense.
But I want you to read my favorite line of the movie, as we all know what it is.
Sure. Yeah. This occurs after a shootout happens at the woman who works at the chemical plant's house where we're at, and Treat has been blown away. I mean, he's been shot with a bunch of bullets, and she says to him, "Hey, are you hurt?" And he says, "Lady, I'm fucking dead," and then saunters off out of the room.
Gets me every time.
It's like carried so fucking
Yeah,
well.
you know?
That
And it's not even Joe Piscopo. It's fucking Treat Williams who nails
Yeah.
it.
it's so sassy. Where his character has been up to that point very to the book, Mr. Business.
Yeah, he's been through a lot.
Lady, I'm fucking
Have
dead.
you ever seen a movie with more one-liners? There's probably a few. I couldn't even think a few Arnold ones.
Oh yeah. Probably several, but
Like Total Recall.
Mhm.
Like that has like substantial amounts.
yeah, but there was almost if Piscopo was in the scene, there probably was a one-liner being used at least once.
Safe to
That was all
say.
his,
I mean, I would say at least like 3 times.
you know,
Like one in each sentence.
yeah, like this little piggy's going to market. He shoots a reanimated pig. That's great.
Oh yeah, I like legit forgot about that scene. Because there's just so many other crazy scenes that you just
Yeah,
forget about
because
the previous.
they're like
crazy.
all like that. Like they're all crazy scenes. How are you supposed to
crazy scenes.
distinguish them all? I can't.
That's true.
Like they went to crazy Chinatown where they're just like everything that is being butchered reanimates, and I'm like, this is insane.
Which I hate to question, the logic of the film, but I mean, it's a zombie, and they even kind of say you have to like take out the head. It's how you would kill the zombie before.
Yeah, the giant pig that was headless.
Most of them were headless. The chickens were headless, and I said, "How are these alive?" But that's the only flaw in this movie.
That's a great fucking question, and they just ignored it, and it still worked. They're just like, don't ask questions.
Move on.
Do some cocaine. We would be fine.
Oh man.
Would you say that all of the actors were high in the filming of this movie? Maybe I won't say that just in case I offend someone, but I feel like there was a good number of people that were high.
I mean,
This is
if they were, I don't think it hurt.
It only enhanced their performance.
it only added to the film.
What else can be said about this zombie
Well,
buddy cop film? What can we say? Because there's no plot. That's one thing against it. There's plot. It's like, find who's trying to kill me. I don't know.
yeah, find who killed him in the asphyxiation room and who's bringing these people back to life. And then that's Act 2 after he gets reanimated. And then Act 3, Treat becomes, or I should say Roger Mortis, which is a great fucking name because it's almost rigor mortis, which is, the term when your body becomes stiff after death.
Clever.
So, great name. That props to the writer, Terry Black, I believe. But Act 3 is he figures out who is killing them or who's bringing people back to life, and he's locked in an ambulance. So he runs it down the hill.
Oh yeah, and the other fucking love interest is dead.
Rebecca? Or?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
the mortician, right?
Yeah.
The original mortician at the hospital.
Her and Treat Williams had a little chemistry going on.
Yeah, they did have some chemistry,
that
or they
was
had
clear.
some past. That were, yeah, but and then he also kind of had a thing for the woman at the chemical plant, right? That wasn't he misreading
Something
that, or
like
she had a
that.
thing for him.
I read a little bit of both. I thought they were into each other.
Mhm.
But Treat Williams has the hair for it, so he can he can handle two women, I guess.
Because the woman, I forget her name at the chemical plant. She was very catty to the mortician woman when she met her.
Yeah.
Very, like, she's just meeting this woman, and I thought I had the line, but she was very rude to her, I thought, because she figures out Roger had a thing with her. And Piscopo makes
Of course he does.
some lines, some jab.
Poor Joe, he doesn't have anyone.
Good point.
Yeah, he's all on his, he's alone.
They could have at least both had
Yeah.
love interest to
And,
make it
balance
even.
things out a little bit.
Yeah. I thought that's what the chemical
You
plant woman was
thought?
going to be to him, is like it was going to be this little budding thing a little bit between Treat and her, but then she was going to like Joe, and so they'd both have their own thing. Nope. Screw Piscopo.
You do the fucking funny shit, Joe. And Treat gets the ladies.
Say your lines and end it. Oh man. But one thing I had that I'm sure it was supposed to be subtle, but did you guys notice the fish tanks? Right, the mentioning of fish tanks in this movie. Okay, Rebecca, I believe, was that
Yes.
her name? The mortician.
No idea.
She has like a fish tank that's fake with no fish, and she's like, "What does it matter? They're gonna die anyway," or something. And Treat makes some comment. Then the chemical plant woman, she has a fish tank that's a close up, and she loves these fish. Like, she fucking loves them. Loves these new fish. I don't know what the point of that was. It had to mean something.
But it went up right over my head.
I think
Like, they
I think it's the rule of threes in comedy, you know, except they're going for a dark comedy because 1, it's a blank fish tank. 2, they have fish. Then her fish are dead. And then bada boom, bada bing, Joe Piscopo fucking dies in the movie. Which I didn't know was Joe Piscopo until like the last 15 minutes of the movie when he was being fucking revitalized at the lightning tank. Like, it's just like, whoosh, just zap and he just shakes violently. And he's like like a zombie that takes orders.
Yeah. Yeah, Treat was the only zombie that was brought back that was conscious of himself and could make independent choices. All the other ones were like under mind control. Until Treat showed him the power of friendship. And then Joe turned.
Yeah, what was his lines? Do you remember?
Oh.
Did he remind him about
No.
like food too?
He did. It was something they said earlier. It was obviously a callback.
Was it
to something they
the
said.
Italian beef that he threw out the window or meatball sandwich?
And it's yet to be.
It very well could have been.
He's just like, you remember that great meatball sandwich with some Parmesan?
Shouldn't have thrown that out.
I just made that up, but it works.
It sounds like something he would
It seems
say.
like it would fit in this movie. Yeah.
I'm just really embodying that character right now. Would you, if there was a sequel to this movie, would you guys be totally on board for it?
I don't know.
Is it a sequel, not a reboot, right?
Yeah.
You're saying a
Same
sequel?
cast.
Sequel.
Same cast?
Same cast.
Oh man. Well, according to the laws of this movie,
Yeah.
they should be dead, unless it's like right after. But anyway, yes, I would see Dead Heat 2.
Oh, yeah.
I would, not in theaters.
Wait.
I would see it on like Netflix.
Do you remember the gross line at the end of the movie?
the very last one?
Yeah, it was like, because they were dead, and it was like, remember it was like clouds and shit? And you're like, what do you want to come back as? And then he was just like, I want to come back as like a girl's motorcycle seat or something. Something along those lines. And I was like, ew, who fucking wrote this?
Gross.
Who wrote that movie?
That is
Yeah.
too far.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I laughed because it was like so gross that I was just like, what the fuck? That was so unexpected.
Yeah.
So you would not be into Dead Heat 2, is that right, Lindsay?
Well, okay. I know that, like, these aren't exactly... What it reminded me of is, like, okay, it's been almost 30 years, right? But, like... You know, it kind of reminded me of, like, the sequel to, like, Dumb and Dumber. You know, they, like, did that 20 years later. And I know it's, like, a completely, like, different thing, but I'm just, like... I don't know. You let that much time go by, and, like, I don't know how that would go.
Well, my scenario would not be
I'm
like
on your
30
side.
years down the road. It'd be like, what if, like, before the podcast we mentioned about, like, the producer wanting a sequel for this movie. I mean, like, within reasonable amount of time. Like, I would say 5 years. Like, the sequel that never was to be. Would you see that movie?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But, you know, our time has come and gone, you know?
Because I just,
Yeah.
Ain't
I
gonna
still
happen.
That'd be crazy.
still love that piece of trivia
Yeah.
where the writer reminds the producer, but all the characters are dead. He's like, you got a retaliation machine. Figure it out. whatever the fuck the machine's called. A resurrection machine.
Oh.
My
Yes.
bad. Resurrection
Resurrection.
machine.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love a sequel, even if it takes place like today. If it picks up right where it left off, like they go off onto that smoke cloud, movie starts on the opposite side of that smoke cloud, same day.
Or just
Dead
it's
Heat
just like
2.
LA with smog. Like that's all it was.
It was just the smog coming in. Oh, that's good. It was the 80s.
Would you guys defend or destroy this movie?
It's not without charm. I think it's a lot of fun. I think for me, it's more of a guilty pleasure, but I'm gonna defend it through and through. Zombies, like you got your zombie fights, you got your explosions, you got your gunfights. Like, I don't really need anything more.
Who needs a plot? Who needs a plot?
Zombies.
You got
your
everything else.
gunfights. You got your one-liners. I'm
You
set.
really do have a lot of one-liners in this movie, and I feel like it delivers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember them all because they're just like,
Oh yeah.
boom, after scene after scene after scene, they got it.
Yeah, what about you guys? What do you think?
I definitely agree with you, where it's definitely a guilty pleasure, because when I was watching it, I was like, man, this movie's really bad, but it's really fucking entertaining. Because it's just like, especially with that opening shootout, it just really gets the ball rolling of how crazy it is. Because, like, these criminals are just being fucking demolished by bullets. And they're just like, it's like taking it. And, like, and then Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams are going rogue and just really trying to, like, crash into them and throw grenades at them. They really go all out to really protect L.A., the streets of L.A. And I love when they get bitched out by their fucking captain. I thought I needed a little more. I needed like one more scene of that.
That was hilarious.
Oh. Agreed. I made notes on that scene. Like, that was almost a page of notes. Like, every time it cut to him, it was a close-up. Like, of him screaming. Like, bloody murder screaming, close-up of the cop. I mean, the captain. I'll have your badges. Ooh. Anyway.
Do you have any tidbits before we close out? Because, like, I feel like the only thing for us to talk about this movie is just talk about how ridiculous it was, because it was. And then everything else about it is that, only thing we didn't mention, because we already spoiled everything else, that Vincent Price's character was alive after all. And I think dies. I don't know. I honestly forgot what happened to him.
Now, he made some jabs in that doorway during the fight scene and then kind of left. I don't think he died. They didn't
Who did they
make a
resurrect
reference
at
to him
the end?
being
Was
shot.
like, wasn't that some other guy? Who was that?
Who they killed at the very
Good
end?
question.
You mean the dad from the Christmas Story?
What?
Yeah.
You mean that
I
guy?
thought it was him.
Yeah. The evil guy, the doctor, whatever his name is in the movie, is the father in Christmas Story. For Geely, that's him.
Well.
Yeah, I remember I looked him up, and then I was like, it is him!
Good catch.
Yeah.
I remember I was like looking at IMDb, and I was like, I'm not recognizing anything, because he's just like an actor who's in a shit ton of stuff, and I was like, he's the dad in the Christmas Story!
Yeah. His death was pretty awesome, by the way, because spoilers, we're already there. He shoots himself so that Treat and Joe can't kill him. So they bring him back to life so they can kill him. And how they kill him is bringing him back to life twice, because you can't reanimate somebody twice is like part of the rules too.
I feel like they really
was pretty
shoehorned it
incredible.
in right, like at the end. But they're like, you can't do it twice.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, when was that mentioned?
Yeah. Yeah, they can't be brought back twice. Yeah, that's fine. Write it in. And then the final line as they walk off into the smoke is, "This could be the end to a wonderful friendship."
Yeah.
Great. Dead Heat, red titles comes out.
Classic
Fantastic.
Casablanca-like moment.
Oh, yeah. Pretty
I
parallel.
was
I'd
gonna say,
say.
like, almost completely the opposite. But yeah. Same sentiment.
Do you go?
Are you sure? Did we watch the same movie?
Is that Humphrey Bogart?
Is that you?
Is this Maltese Falcon?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, before we cut off, I'll defend or destroy. I'm gonna destroy.
Wow.
I'm gonna destroy it, but with the caveat. I would recommend viewing, but I have to destroy the movie. We said there's no plot. We said it's a bunch of one-liners. It's very entertaining. I would recommend it. But on the whole, I'd have to
So
destroy the movie.
how would you recommend it?
I'd find the VHS copy and I'd
How would
burn
you
it.
recommend
What?
something if it's destroyed?
You know, people will have rare copies hanging around. There's always the black market.
The Star Wars
People will
Christmas
find
special that's still around. Same kind of thing.
Exactly. If you look hard enough, you can find it. You know, and I'd recommend that. I'd send them to Lindsay or Pete because you guys clearly defended it. And I have a copy somewhere.
I feel like I have
Stashed
to.
away.
I was laughing like so much, and I was like, "This is a guilty pleasure movie. It knows what it is, and it fucking delivers
Yeah.
on all cylinders.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
You got your romance. You got your zombies.
You got your explosions.
Yep.
You're set. All right. Well, with that, I think we wrapped up Dead Heat this week. We'll be working on the script diligently for Dead Heat 2 as the week progresses. Keep up to date with us on Facebook and Twitter and let us know what you're thinking. We'd love to hear from our listeners. Listeners, I finally got it right. I always say viewers. It's finally ingrained. Listeners, we'd love to hear what you're thinking. Let us know what movies we want to watch, and we'll try to have a mini episode out soon. And, yeah, that's about it I have right now. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'm good.
All right, then. Well, thanks for tuning in to the podcast with reports. Until next time, I remain in the shadows.
The world's against me, I tell you.